I'll tell you when people joined.
Well, just tell me, is it live?
It's live.
Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Define999 here. We're going to talk about one of my favorite sets. It's the Spiderman129 set.
And at the very end, we're talking about.
And at the very end, we're going to talk about my son's Deathstroke comic. Okay, so I'm one of these foreign collectors that if I don't have the American edition, it bothers me. I have a mid-grade Spidey 129. It's pretty nice. It's a nice mid-grade, and it's cool. It's a cool book. I love it. Frank Castle is my guy. So there's the American. Everyone has seen that. The next book is the German, the Die Spien.
Let me see. Why is it green?
The wall is green because publishers
No,
would
why
often
is
change.
the bullet green?
Oh, I'm not sure. They would often change artwork to suit their needs, however they wanted to. The German one is not too difficult to find. It can be found pretty easily, but finding them in decent condition is hard. This one is pretty nice condition. I've had it for a while. It was one of the first ones that I got. The next one is the French-Canadian. This one was actually published pretty recently after the American book. I don't remember exactly. It is published by EH. It's in French. And I think it was maybe a month or two. I forget exactly how soon, but pretty darn soon. Of all the foreign 129s, I think the French was probably published the closest to the American published date. This one is awesome in its sepia kind of toned cover, and these can be found. They're not extremely difficult, but it's very hard to find them in any kind of decent condition. A lot of times you find EH books pretty rough. This one is very nice. One of my favorite foreigns for sure because of the sepia toning. Next we have the Brazilian E-Ball. The E-Ball books can be found pretty regularly. They're not crazy rare, but they're very hard to find in any kind of decent condition. What's up?
Stefan says about 2 months after.
2 months after. There we go, Stefan. Stefan is on it. He's the man. He is the EH man. He's my French-Canadian buddy. Quebecois! The Brazilian E-Ball is awesome because E-Ball, the publisher, decided to change Punny's skull and make it more subdued. I love that. There's also some coloration changes in here. The smoke is white all the way through. And E-Balls are just awesome books. Of all of South America, I personally think Brazilian E-Balls are some of the best, if not the best foreigns down there that just have that special something.
Jim sent a link for afterwards.
Okay, Jim
Wasi?
Wasi, okay. Yeah, he's my Brazilian guy. I don't know how to say in Portuguese, I don't know how to say, what's up, Jim, but I need to learn. Next, the Italian L'Uomo Ragno. Decent condition, it's got some spine problems. I love the Italian books. They were published by Cornell, was the publisher. They had kind of like a almost cover stock, thick cover to them. And again, most of the European stuff isn't hard to find, but sometimes it can be hard to find in any decent conditions. In Italy, this book was not a key. In fact, very often they wonder why Americans give a shit. And a lot of that has to deal with the fact that just because something is key here in America
I
doesn't
thought these
mean...
were comic books.
They are comic books, baby.
Well, they look like, you say these are books.
Well, we call them comics and books.
Well, Dad, why...
It's complicated.
Well, why is those like so many pages in there?
Because they would make them thicker. And they would put more stories in the American books.
Oh, look, well, they look like a book.
They do. So yeah, Italian, awesome book. Very cool, published by Cornell. Next one we have Spiderman. It's Dutch. This was a cool issue. The Dutch are neat because we think that the print runs. You can walk through.
Are you live?
We are live.
No, I will not walk through.
Okay. So can you wait just a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. My wife wants to eat lunch, so I'll try to make this.
Ernie says Modelo.
Yeah, Modelo's, Ernie. That's what I'm all about. Okay. So, Dutch, Netherlands. We don't think a lot were printed. The country of the Netherlands, I think, has what, like maybe 8-9 million people. It's very small. It'd be like almost like one of the larger states here in America. So we don't think a lot of these were printed, and that's why they're not necessarily hard to find, but I just don't think there were a lot printed. So, Dutch, Spiderman, pretty awesome. We'll get to yours in just a second, baby.
Abe says Dutch with a smiley face.
Cool.
And that's a lot of
I know
them.
it's a lot, babe. I told you there was going to be a lot. Okay, let's go to Mexico, to our friends south of the border. This is the Mexican Mac. The Mexican Mac is a very thin book. For a while, we used to think these were hard to find, but they kind of have popped up out of the woodwork lately. But I can tell you that the paper is extremely thin on the Macs, and finding them in decent condition is tough. This one's probably about at least a VF, I think. Maybe an NM minus, I don't know. But the Macs are cool. And they were printed in, this book was printed in 1974, so I think it was a couple months to maybe a year from the American publication, I forget. But a very cool book and can be tough, Mexican Mac. We're going to stay in Mexico and go to the Novedades. The Novedades was red, and mine unfortunately has a blown staple, it rusted out. But this book was tough to find. It was printed in the 80s, early 80s, I think 1982. And it was printed by Novedades. And interestingly enough, some people think the Macs are easier to find than this book. What's up?
Jim says awesome covers, Matthew Rayball.
Thank you, Jim. Jim Wazi. He's my boy from Brazil.
This reminds me of an episode of Fun with Flags on Big Bang Theory.
It's sort of like Fun with Flags on Big Bang Theory, except I'm not nearly as smart as Sheldon. Mexican, red, very tough to find. If you're interested, there is one for sale by my buddy Miguel on eBay right now, in good condition, which is hard to find Novedades. Mexican red, I love this one. Cool book. Now probably one of my favorites. We're going to Greece. Cabanas Hellas. Now Cabanas was the publisher. Hellas is Greece in Greek. This book, of all the foreign 129s, is up there with one of the most difficult to find and one of the most awesome ones. Notice here the coloration looks like the S for Spider-Man should have been there. This book was kind of thrown together. In fact, this book does not actually have the 129 guts. It has, I forget the interiors, but it's just the cover.
Joshua says this is the kind of history lesson I can get into, LOL.
Awesome. Is this my boy Josh Bill?
Biddle.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, so the Greek 129 is tough and is a freaking awesome book. This is one of the coolest 129 foreign editions out there. It is extremely difficult to find, and in my opinion, in any grade, this book is easily, if it were to be properly valued, in my opinion, it's at least in the 2s or 300s. Awesome book.
You have 10% remaining.
Oh, just hit close that low power. Close it out. You did? Okay, thank you. Greek 129, frickin' awesome. Okay, the next one. The second Brazilian was published by RGE. It's white, so oftentimes people like to call this the Brazilian white. It was published, I believe, in the early 80s. What's up?
Stefan says, is it 129 inside?
On this one? I believe so. I haven't looked in a while, but I believe this one might have the 129 inside. Yes, it does. There's your classic splash page. This one can be hard to find because it was small. A lot of the smaller digest books didn't survive as well because they're just smaller. And
No, for the Greek.
oh, for the Greek. No, the Greek does not have the guts inside. Until we get to another one, which I'll get to in a second. Anyway, Brazilian. 129. A lot of people in the foreign niche like to call this the Brazilian white.
I like making.
Okay, one of the fun ones, the UK. This was Spider-Man with his superheroes. And the UK publisher, it was actually Marvel, but it was like Marvel UK. And they had, I think they had other stories inside and whatnot. Late 70s. But what's cool about this one is it's printed in the landscape style. And the artwork actually looks like it looks like Frank Castle was redrawn, which makes this a very interesting 129 foreign if you're collecting this set. This is a must-have simply because it is very unique. The UK. I'm gonna put this one back in here.
Are you daddy have to put Legos together today?
I already put those Legos together. That one. Okay. Getting to the bad boys of the 129 that are awesome. The EKS Almanar 129. Oversized, black and white interiors, and frickin' awesome. If you're building a 129 set, you have to have this. This is from the former Yugoslavia, and I can't imagine that very many were produced or very many survived. Remember, Yugoslavia broke up. I believe it was in the late 80s that it broke up, and then they went through a shit ton of civil war and strife. So these books are awesome. What's up, Ty?
I'm trying to move and not move that.
Okay. Now, if we're talking about Greek and guts, this is the second Greek. This is sometimes we like to call it the red Greek. N-I-Tip Man. This one, I believe, does have the guts, though it's been a while since I've opened it up.
Are you making a germ?
And I'm not seeing the classic splash page, so maybe not. It's been a while since I've looked through this one.
Germs aren't black.
Believe it or not, it does not. I don't recognize that splash page, but I don't think this Greek has the guts either. How interesting that both Greek 129s do not contain the guts. Is it a 129 foreign? I think so, though I think an argument could be made against it. But for me, if it has the classic artwork and has the classic cover, it is and belongs in the 129 set. What would happen if it was slabbed? I'm not sure I remember. You know, the only slabbing company worth their salt with foreigns is CBCS. I can't remember how they handled that when they have mismatched interiors and covers. Maybe Tim will chime in at some point and let us know. Or if you have an example, that'd be cool.
I have a question from a nerdy woman wife.
Okay, so a nerd woman's wife has a question. What's up?
Why doesn't it have the innards? Isn't that why you bought the comic?
It doesn't have the innards because the foreign publishers chose to produce them however they wanted to. No, Sebi, remember I told you you had to be serious if you were going to get candy.
Brian says, good stuff, Matt. I'm going to have to send you some microchamber paper for those books, though, dude, LOL.
Awesome. Yeah, I ran out of microchamber. I had a whole bunch. Okay, behave. Yes, so Nerdy Guy's wife, the reason is because the publishers chose to produce the books and publish them however they saw fit, because Marvel certainly could care less. As long as the check cashed, that's all they cared about.
So it's like buying a magazine without having anything inside?
No, it still has stuff inside, it just doesn't necessarily have the 129 guts. It's got other Spider-Man stories.
Buying a magazine but getting Good Housekeeping?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that
It would
sounds
be
fun.
like buying Spin and inside's got Good Housekeeping. Yes, that's a good analogy. Okay, Swedish 129, Spindelmannen. Cool book. This one's kind of rough. I thought it had a poster, but I can't remember. My buddy Bjorn probably could tell me. fun book. There's a Swedish and a Norwegian, I think, that's hard to tell the difference. I always get the Nordic countries confused. They can be tough at times. This is a very cool book, and you know, if you're building a 129 set, a must have. Okay, Denmark, another classic red cover. Denmark, Edderkoppen, and this one was printed much later, 1993. So, you know, I collect the set. Sometimes foreign niche collectors won't collect anything that's too far along past the original publishing date, but me personally, I don't care as long as it's a cool book. This is an extremely nice copy. It was given to me by my buddy Tony. And Tony, just so you know, has the largest 129 set on the planet. An amazing set. Excuse me while I get some Modelo down my gullet. Okay, speaking of recent, relatively recently, this is a French one printed by Panini. Cool book, but relatively modern. I think this could have possibly even been printed as recently as the early 2000s. I don't know, but I wanted it for my set, and this is another one Tony helped me acquire.
Great question.
I have a French copy of Spawn number 27B signed and sent to CGC. It came back great from Elvis.
It came back late? Oh, from Elvis.
Great. It came
Oh,
back
cool.
great.
What's up, Elvis? Awesome. Yeah, I hope that you guys, you know, a lot of my friends collect foreigns, but I know there are definitely some friends of mine that haven't dipped their toes into that side of the pool yet. It can be a little scary, you know, getting stuff shipped from across the pond, dealing with pretty expensive shipping fees, along with foreign sellers not packaging stuff very well. You know, that's something else we deal with. I like Spawn, by the way. I have a huge Spawn 1 set. One of these days I'll have to do one of these for that. Okay, so I saved one of the best for last. This is the Finnish 129 mail-away. Now in Finland,
What are you gonna make?
they shipped these were not sold on the stands. These were shipped to subscribers, and I don't exactly know the criteria for getting one, but they were shipped to their subscribers and they were not printed on the newsstands. Hamakamis is what it's called, and it's relatively recent. It's modern. It's a 94. And it is all black and white. It is awesome. It's scenic. And a lot of these were printed with on the back. So they mailed them to them, and they put their address. So they put a sticker on the back that basically ruined the book. Someone came with this one I think came from a private hoard, and I think maybe they were backstock. I'm not sure. It's pristine. I think it could get a 96, 98. And, you know, as far as rarity goes, I do not think there's very many of these. I really don't. And if you're collecting a 129 set, this is a must. It's a must-have, and good luck finding it, because they are tough. This is an awesome, awesome 129. 129s I do not have in my collection that I need. There's a bunch. But the one that's probably, the two that are the most important that I'm missing are the Colombian, I think it was Greco or Cinco, I forget. But the Colombian 129 is probably the rarest 129, and it's extremely tough. I only know personally of 3 that I've ever seen. Yeah, I think maybe 3, maybe 4, but I mean, we're talking rare. I'm also missing the Spanish Bruguera. I think it's Brugera. That's another red cover, and I definitely do need that. Sebi, you ready to talk about your comic book? So Sebi wanted to talk about his comic book. He loves Deathstroke. So tell him about it.
So you see, there's a snake. His name is Snakebite.
Snakebite.
He has Deathstroke, and that's how you think.
Deathstroke's awesome, right?
Yeah, and then there is
What happens?
so those guys try killing it.
You tried killing Snakebite? What was
No,
his name?
no.
Waller, though?
They
His name was
walk.
Waller.
These guys walk for Snakebite.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
There's Harley.
and that's the calling that out his gun.
Yeah, Deathstroke's awesome.
Let's stop saying that.
Sorry.
You
he's
say that
messed
I'm-
with me. I'm being a dork. I'm sorry.
And then those guys killed everyone. Those guys did stop all those guys.
Tell him about Snakebite's powers.
Snakebite's power.
Go towards the end,
Oh,
where he's using his powers on
Stefan
Deathstroke.
says this is the best book that's Deathstroke. And Sky says, all good, enjoy collecting with your family. This is important in introducing future generations
So-
to the genre.
Heck yeah, I always do it.
This
man.
is
We read comic
Snakebite.
books at night before bed.
this is Snakebite while he's attacking him. You see, they have poison on him. But at the end,
And he gets Deathstroke, huh? He gets him with.
Stefan says,
That's-
better than what you own, Matt.
Deathstroke.
And
Deathstroke.
Sky says, good luck with your set and say hello to Tony.
Deathstroke.
Yeah, I'll say hello to Tony for sure.
That's
He needs to
the-
get his ass down here.
Somebody's trying to tell everybody
Okay.
about Deathstroke.
Sorry.
Deathstroke, he got his sword stabbed in Snakebite's heart right there, and then he took it out, and then at the end, well,
Wait, what happens at the end?
from
Remember, Deathstroke's hurt because he's trying to find his daughter, and remember he got hurt. There's him without his mask, so he's.
so there's him without his mask. There he is.
You don't have much battery remaining.
Okay, we're about done.
There he is, and then he has a mustache, and he has an eye patch. And right there, Deathstroke kicks him. Where is
And he
it?
falls, huh?
Yeah,
He falls.
where is he?
Where did right
That-
there's where he falls. See, he's
Deathstroke,
falling out the hole.
Deathstroke killed, and he kicked him. And then and you see he's a cobra. Dad, he is a cobra.
No, I know. Can't I laugh?
Josh
So
says
you-
family bonding, good stuff with this.
You see he's a cobra. He gets kicked out the window, and the sword's just going down.
Okay, let's start wrapping it up, okay? Because people got stuff to do.
And
What?
then,
Tell them what the main thing you want to tell them about this comic. What would be in 2 sentences?
oh,
What's this comic in 2 sentences?
well, Snakebite's pretty. Snakebite is like this, so this page is gonna be amazing.
And Deathstroke's awesome, right?
What's that point where Snakebite like stabs?
Oh, we passed it. That's a lot more in 2 sentences.
To reconnect. Okay.
Okay, because Dad's camera's gonna run out here. Right here.
So he gets those the guys, like the guys with the guns. These guys.
Okay, show him your favorite panel in the whole comic, and we'll be done. What's your favorite panel in the entire comic book? Can you think about that?
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite of all the panels? Tell me, which one is your favorite panel?
So, where is it?
Let's keep going. I think it's toward the end.
No, it's not. We skipped it.
That's a cool panel.
Well, it's not cool enough to me because, well,
Okay, well let's see. Which one's the coolest panel?
the point where he like stabs the guys,
In
he messes up the guy's eyes and then blood comes out the eyes.
I don't know which part that is. That might be a different comic.
No, it's in this comic, I promise.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right there. That's
So-
it.
so-
listen.
This is my favorite. he messes up the eyes and then blood comes out then.
Okay, so tell the internet world bye.
Bye.
Tell them thank you for checking out our little foreign comic and Deathstroke Facebook Live. Tell them.
Thank you for
Later, guys.
Thank you for checking out our foil comic and Deathstroke foil and Death comic live.
Cool. Bye, guys.